So you want to make fresh artisan breads like these? Light and chewy focaccia bread, the real deal New York bagels, 7-grain whole wheat breads, and flaky crusted French breads. Well, I'm Chef Colin, and I'm here to show you a foolproof method to make perfect bread every time. I'm going to introduce you to a bakery component from the southeast coast of Italy that has only been available to professional bakeries until now. If you bought the video, it comes with a couple of packages. If you're watching this on the website, you can order some authentic through our shopping page. We're going to start with focaccia bread today, and when the recipe comes up, pause the video, get your ingredients together, and I'll walk you through it. What I got in the bowl here is 1.25 pounds of flour. We're going to add make sure we get it right. That's 0.3 ounces of salt, 0.3 ounces of sugar, and we're going to take our other 0.3 ounces of sugar and we're going to add that to the bowl here. You don't want to get confused on your salt and sugar. Okay, so with that, we're going to do 2 cups of hot water. And we can go ahead with hot tap water. It needs to be right around 98 degrees. If you get 98 to 105 degrees, you start pushing 110 degrees, you can kill your yeast. If you do, if it's colder than 95 degrees, your yeast isn't going to activate. So in the bowl, we've got the sugar. And I'm just going to go with hot tap water, as hot as that's going to get for me. Which should work just fine. And we're going to go ahead and get 2 cups. Okay, with that 2 cups, pouring it right on the sugar, I'm going to save about 1.5 ounces of this for later. Okay, so first of all, this is the authentic. That's on your recipe. This, when you buy the video, we go ahead and send you a couple batches worth of the authentic, and each of these bags is 1 batch. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here right now. This is a bakery component based on sourdough with a Mediterranean flavor component. I mean, this is awesome. You know, a lot of breads, they use milk and whey solids and such to get kind of a richness to it. This is a vegan bread, way better for you, and it is it's way better for you, and it's doesn't have those caseinated proteins that, I mean, look it up. It's not good. So anyway, we're going to take our yeast, which is 0.65 ounces. I like to add it right on top of the water because that helps it to keep them clumping. And what I want you to make sure of is you make sure that this yeast foams right away. So that's what you're looking at. Your yeast is activating right now. So that's ready to go in the bowl. And we have got your water with your yeast. Make sure you get it all in there. And your mixer for a KitchenAid here. That's on speed 2. Now we're going to let that go for 15 minutes. Okay? And then we're going to show you how this stuff reacts. Okay, we're just a minute in here, and what I want to do is I want to scrape down the sides a little bit here to get all of this flour to incorporate. Don't want to waste my kneading time on mixing. Careful with your spatula in here. This is a pretty strong motor. So we just get it dug up from the bottom. Get that all mixed in there real well. When you start getting a bit of dough going on there with no flour on the bottom, then you're going to be ready to just let it go. So let's do that. There we go. Okay, so we're just about 7-8 minutes into this now, and I want you to take a look at the streaks in the dough. That is actually your gluten strands forming. You can see how they're wrapping around the dough hook. They're kind of sticking to the side of the bowl and getting pulled off. We're going to watch that develop throughout this 15 minutes of kneading time. The importance of having a good strong gluten strand is so that the bread is chewy and not crumbly. We've all had that bread that just falls apart on us. That is not going to happen here. And we'll check it here in just a couple minutes. Just 15 minutes into this, our gluten strands are starting to firm up, but we're going to want more. Let me show you what this looks like. And there we go. You can actually see the gluten strands sticking to the side of the bowl and almost wrapping around that dough hook. So at this point, you're going to add the last of your water. We're going to wetten that up some. We're going to run this with the water on there for another 3 minutes. You want to set your timer. It's also very important that your water is at about 98 degrees. A little higher, a little lower is okay. It'll still activate the yeast. If you start getting into the 105, 110 degree range, you kill your yeast, and if it's not warm enough, it won't activate. So let's do this another 3 minutes. All right, so now we're at our 3-minute point, and what we're going to do with this, all that water is incorporated in there. You can see the gluten strands getting stronger and pulling off the side of the bowl there. We're going to go ahead and kick this up to speed 4 on our mixer. And now you can watch those gluten strands actually sticking to the side of the bowl, and they are pulling. This is crucial, and this is really what the authentic is going to do for you. So we're going to give that 3 more minutes. And it's a good time to do a little prep for dinner. Okay, so now this is probably not like you've ever seen bread made before, but you can start to see at this, we're at the 3-minute point again, and your gluten strands are getting stronger. You can see them sticking to the side of the bowl there and wrapping around the dough hook, which is just starting to get a little bit of a sheen to the dough. And when you get your sheen, it really means that the yeast and the flour and the sugar and the salt and everything else in there has all become one. Your yeast is growing throughout and making this dough not separate ingredients, but one ingredient. So at this point, for another 3 minutes, we're going to kick this baby, and kick that up to speed 6 on our mixer. And there you go. There's a good picture of those gluten strands. That's going to get strong enough that it should actually start pulling away from the side of the bowl. So let's go ahead and check that again in about 3 minutes. Okay, we're just another minute and a half into this thing, and I just wanted to show you how this dough is tightening up and really becoming one. It's pulling from the sides like that. You can actually see gluten strands, and we're going to give this a couple more minutes, and then we'll be ready to toss it in the bowl for a ride. All right, so we got it going now. We're going to take it up for just another minute or so, and really, we got that on speeding, and that is really going to whip that into quite a shiny, smooth, stretchy dough. Okay, so here's what I'm looking for, is that this is getting a nice sheen to it, really holding together. You can see those strands really forming on that, and that is going to get tight enough here in just a minute to pull away from the sides of the roll. Okay, we're into the last of our last 3-minute shot, and as promised, this bread is starting to form a ball and pull away from the sides of the bowl. We're going to go ahead and let that go just another second here until we hit our 3-minute mark. And we're going to call that good. Okay, so now we've got our dough out, and what I want you to see is this sticky stretch test here. You get a good stretch like that, you've got some good focaccia dough. So where we're going to take this is take my rubber spatula. We're going to take a little bit of oil, pour it in the bowl, let that run around. Don't worry so much about getting up the sides because you're going to pour it right in the middle and that'll push it up. And this is a really sticky dough, so you want to have oil on your spatula. And this stuff should stretch across the room and pour out of the bowl. As you can see, that is some awesome focaccia dough. Now again, we're still running timers on every step of the way. It's probably going to double, but what we're going to do is we are going to, now you see your oil here has, let's see if I can get that up there. Oil is run to the side, so what you want to do is just go ahead and get some of that oil up on top from the sides. And we're going to go ahead and set another timer. This is going to set for 15 minutes. We're going to shape it, cook it, and love it. So there it is in the bowl. I just wanted you to see the sheen that gets when it all becomes one. A nice shiny dough. You can actually already see some of the bubbles starting to form. And what this focaccia bread is it's all about the bubbles, all about the holes when you cut into the bread. That really shows you it's going to be a nice, chewy, flavorful bread. So I'm going to give that about 15 minutes and show you what we do next. So here we go after about 15 minutes of rise, and you can see it's quite doubled, and you can also see that we've treated it right because we're already forming some bubbles here. Now, the different types of bread that we make, they're all the same: bread, flour, yeast, sugar, water, oil. To make your different types of artisan breads is really how you handle the bread. So let me show you how we're going to do that. Alrighty, so we're not going to punch this bread down. We're going to gently get it out of the bowl here. See how that is still pouring right out of the bowl. Okay, what we don't want to do is we don't want to overwork this at all. We're not going to pop these bubbles. So I'm going to get on a dusted flour, and then I'm going to dust the top, because this is kind of a sticky dough. We'll get it to where we can handle it a little bit. Do not punch it down. You can see those bubbles already starting to form. Now, what we want to do is you're going to take your baking pan like this. Let me get you at a better vantage point here. Oh, we're at a better vantage point. Now, I'm going to take my baking pan, and this is cornmeal. You don't want to oil your pan, or any kind of grease is going to make just the bottom of your pan burn. So we're going to go ahead and the cornmeal will keep this dough from sticking. And I'm going to gently get this loaf with a little flour. A little help from my flour. You can see these big bubbles coming in. This is awesome. All right. And we're going to lift that onto the pan. I'm going to come this way. And we're going to pull it out and stretch it just a little bit. Don't go all the way, or you're going to pull it from the center and you're going to make a skinny center. But you can see how it's puffed up on the edges here. Now we're going to let that rest for about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, now we've had that rest a minute, you can see these bubbles happening. So now I'm going to just take it and pull from the bottom and get this to fit the whole pan. You want to be careful to give it a little stretch here and not pull from the middle so that you don't have this skinny sections. You just want to even that up a little bit. Got a little thin spot there. Well, and again, overhandling this focaccia bread is the cardinal sin. Now we've got about 2 ounces of chopped garlic in a cup of olive oil, and we're just gonna take this and we're gonna dab it over. You don't want to touch it so much that you start popping these bubbles. Remember, it's all about the holes. So if you end up with any puddles of oil in here, it's going to keep the bread from rising. So make sure that you get that spread out. And what I like to do, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. Cheesy breads and tomato mozzarella bread and jalapeno bread. What we're going to do today, since we're doing a vegan bread, is I've got 2 parts sage, 1 part thyme, and 1 part oregano. And we're just going to make an Italian flatbread here today. And give that a good dusting. And I would say in about 10 minutes, that baby is going to be ready for the oven, and you're going to be amazed. Now our bread is ready to go. One last thing I want you to do is we're going to take a little bit of kosher salt, and we're just going to take a pinch of that and run it right over the top. Just get some good seasoned flavor into that. And we're going to pop this into a 400-degree oven for 10 minutes. Then we'll go ahead and spin it and run it another 8 or 10 minutes more. And we'll see how that works. We're hitting about the 10-minute mark here. And that is what we're talking about. All right, that is a gorgeous, even loaf of bread. You can see I got a little bit of oil puddle there and there, but we're going to go ahead and spin this around. And throw it in for another 10 minutes, and we should be good. All right, so we had that in there for 10 minutes, spun the bread. I'm going to spin another 5 minutes, and I think we're probably gorgeous. And that is some gorgeous bread. We'll let that cool a minute and give that a cut and show you what I'm talking about with these, with the holes. So we'll give it just a minute to cool there, and I'm going to show you how well this pan's still hot, so it's not that cool, but I'll show you how well this cornmeal works. And that guy should slide right out of the pan. And there you've got yourself a gorgeous loaf of bread. Remember, it's all about the holes. All right, so this is the kind of bread I wanted to show you how to make. And I talked about the holes. It's all about the holes. See, you've got some nice, and that's going to make for a nice chewy bread. We serve this with our pastas at the restaurant. And There we go. Let me also make a muffaletta sandwich out of this. And if you cut this bread right down the middle, fantastic. It's a fantastic sandwich bread. But I want you to see that. Oh, you can't see that. That's what those gluten strands do for you. It is not a crumbly bread. That's not something that's going to break on you when you make a sandwich. You can do that with your bread and it doesn't crumble. You have developed your gluten strands well. And I want you to try this bread, enjoy, and tell me what you think.
You see, for better mouth health, use Colgate Total.
Do more than protect. Improve mouth health with Colgate Total.
You can do it.
Hey, I got our cards. You can get great discounts.
Again, to get that authentic, look at our shopping page, and we'll send it out to you. We got lots more bread recipes coming, so stay tuned.